I would like to recognize some special guests that are with us today. Located to the left of the rostrum, the chair welcomes a group of distinguished guests from the Republic of Korea. Among our guests are Ambassador Kim, the Consul General of the Republic of Korea in New York, Consulate Yoon, Mr. Yong Young, Mr. Hwang Wok, Mr. Sung Yun, Master Yang, and Mr. Bong Kim. They are guests of Representative Harper, who recently had the pleasure of joining Consulate Yoon at a ceremony in her district. If I could have the members' attention, please. If we could have the members' attention, I'd appreciate it. They are guests of Representative Harper, who recently had the pleasure of joining Consulate Yoon at a ceremony in her district where the government of Korea presented Peace Ambassador medals to Korean war veterans. I would now like to recognize Ambassador Kim to address the House. Ambassador, welcome to the Hall of the House, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Honorable Speaker of the House, Samuel Adams, honorable members of the Pennsylvania General Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and friends. I'm truly honored to be invited to have such a rare and special opportunity to meet you to speak before you today. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be given my address to your Commonwealth with my colleagues and my community representatives. As the birthplace of today's America and nurturing cradle for independence, Pennsylvania rightly deserves its name, the Keystone State. The embryonic, as far as I understand, the embryonic union of states was held together under the common goal of establishing liberty, freedom, and independence. Knowing this state history and its heritage, it is of no coincidence that one of Korea's greatest intellectuals and ardent activists for Korea's independence began his movement here in Pennsylvania in 1989. The young Korean intellectual was Seo Jae-pil, Mr. Seo. He first came to the United States in 1886. He would later convene the first Korean Congress in Philadelphia and began an independence movement there. He sought to bring the world's attention to the distressing situation of Korea at that time came from Japanese occupation and tried to mobilize America, through which his efforts eventually helped to Korea's freedom in 1945. In the beginning, Mr. Seo was a young reformist officer. Following the failed coup attempt to change his government, he fled to the United States and adopted a new American name, Philip Jason, overcoming many adversities, including language barriers, financial hardships, isolation. In 1890, he became the first Korean to be naturalized as a U.S. citizen. As he lived in America, in Philadelphia, as a medical doctor, he devoted his entire life and his position to educating and fighting for Korea's freedom from Japan, while gathering support from friends and citizens of Pennsylvania. There is one more distinguished name I should mention to you today. A native of Southern Pennsylvania, it's hard to pronounce for me. Reverend Hallie Appenzeller came to Korea in 1885 as a missionary to establish Korea's first modern and Western-style private high school under the missionary mission with the Christian teaching, which greatly contributed to the awakening of Korean society at the time by introducing modern science education as well as Christianity. He also inspired young patriotic intellectuals during the poignant years of what seemed to be no hope and no future. As I have introduced, Korea and Pennsylvania have a profound bond deeply rooted in the history, struggling for democracy and freedom. Thus, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the courageous citizens of Pennsylvania who helped Korea achieve its independence from Japanese colonial rule. I should also thank all those who bravely fought during the Korean War, saving Korea from the communist aggression in 1950. The war lasted from 1950 to 1953. I know that some of you served in Korea as military officers, Air Force officers, and more than fathers of your generation served in Korea and fought during the Korean War. I thank you so much for the sacrifices and helping hands your fathers and yourself gave to Korea to make Korea independent and free and democratic country. Korea will never forget your help. Today, Korea has emerged finally as a vibrant, free democracy, a powerful industrial country, and one of the key allies of United States and important trading partner. As the seventh largest trading partner of the United States, Korea is the 10th largest export market for Pennsylvania. Korea is also the 5th largest market for U.S. agricultural products and second largest service market in Asia for the U.S. service industry. As you are all aware, the U.S. Congress passed the historic accord on October the 13th, just one day before receiving my President Lee Myung-bak, at the joint session of the Congress about 2 weeks ago. For me, it almost looked like a miracle that the Congress passed the agreement after 5 years of a struggle and confrontations between the two governments within the parties, but just passed the agreement finally just one day before the President's arrival in Washington and his address at the joint session. Together with long and intimate discussions between the two presidents, it was so moving and beautiful to watch President of Korea speak at the joint session of Congress, during which unity prevailed over partisan differences. It is always to see the unity rather than dispute and conflict. Because we are allies, I was glad that our president has provided an opportunity to U.S. politics to be united and receive the president of allied countries and listen to him. I thank you so much for the members of Congress, particularly members from Pennsylvania, to support the Korea-U.S. Free Trade Agreement and support the address of my president at the joint session of Congress. The political and security-oriented alliance now incorporates a new pillar that expands the scope of our partnership. The economic alliance, at the time of uncertainty and global economic downturn, will help, I believe, a needed momentum in addressing many socio-economic challenges for the United States, for Korea, and probably the rest of the world. I think members of the Congress have worked so hard to achieve this agreement. Again, I believe that this agreement will be a historic value for the mutual benefits of our two countries. According to U.S.-Korea Business Council, the overall benefits of a Korea-U.S. Free Trade Agreement are expected to create more than 70,000 new jobs in the U.S. Furthermore, U.S. exports to Korea would be increased by 10 to 11 billion shortly, more than 10% of its total trade volume, in which tariffs on 9 to 2% of goods and services would be eliminated immediately or at least within 3 years. For Pennsylvania, where nearby 220,000 jobs are supported by exporting goods, Korean tariffs on one half of chemical and other manufactured products such as electronic goods from Pennsylvania will immediately be eliminated once the trade pact enters into full force. The rest of chemical products will be duty-free within 3 years. Also, I believe agricultural and food products such as mushrooms, hygiene skins, dairy, and chocolate, which Pennsylvania is proud of, will immediately benefit from the Korea-US Free Trade Agreement. I'm also very like Hershey chocolate from my childhood. I hope that Koreans will love more Hershey chocolate from the agreement. Yet I believe more important is the significant benefits of a free trade agreement would bring in terms of cross investments. Korean firms over the past 3 years have been investing in the US and more than twice the level US invests in Korea. By the same token, Korean companies have steadily invested in Pennsylvania. Over the past 5 years, average annual $22 million were invested in Pennsylvania by Korean companies. Of this, there are several Korean firms doing business invest in Pennsylvania. They include Hyundai Rotem. The senior representative from Hyundai Rotem is with me today. Hyosung Heavy Industry, Dongwon Food and Beverage, and Uri Bank, and some other companies have been steadily working in Pennsylvania. From Pennsylvania, Bayer Material Science, as you know very well, Core Liquor Company, Respinox, Guardian Industries, and Merck have been very active in Korea. Also, in Pittsburgh, Westinghouse has been a key contributor to Korea's nuclear industry. With our historic ties of friendship and belief and existing cooperation as our guide, we will try our very best to increase and enhance bilateral trade and investment between Korea and Pennsylvania. Thus, it is my earnest wish and hope that more Korean firms can contribute to job creation and mutual economic benefits through investment and partnerships. Recently, I have had an opportunity to visit the automobile plant of Kia Motors in Georgia. I have witnessed the immense impact the company brought on the economic development of that community. Direct investments such as this will not only allow Korean firms to expand its experience abroad and know-how in the global stage, but also significantly contribute the local economies in the U.S. and to the national efforts of economic recovery. I believe such successful case of partnership can be extended and brought here in Pennsylvania, where great history of industrialization, world's top-level academia, and with the second largest reserve in shale gas, are waiting for the full use. Therefore, I kindly request you, the honorable members of General Assembly, to further promote an environment that encourages investments. There is no better country in the world than the United States who can lead the world in global economy and democracy. In this birthplace of America's founding principles and democratic principles in the world, with a tremendous space for industrial advancement, I'm convinced that Pennsylvania will continue to serve as a keystone for the United States and beyond. The world is facing instability across the world. We witness emerging powers take unprecedented socio-economic discontents in each nation. Pains are everywhere. It is my earnest hope that U.S. will address all pressing needs, domestic issues, in time and come up on this world stage again as a confident and respected leader as ever, not only for the sake of the US, but also for the rest of the world. Korea is ready to stand by United States, and Korea and Pennsylvania, Korea and the US can go together. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Kim. Will all of our guests please rise?